everybody. Welcome to the Dice Cult for episode 11 of On the Backs of Gods. Thank you all for being here with us. Episode 11 of On the Backs of Gods. I will be your DM today, Jillian, and I will players. Same as always, we have Frank, Kyle, Mac, Ray, Christo, and Josh. Honestly, I think we're ready to jump into things. I will give us a quick recap of what happened last time. And I think we can get on our way. Does that sound good to everybody?
No.
How bad is the audio loop? Because I mean, if it's me, I feel like that's okay. Just a bunch of me's in a loop.
I think it's all right, actually.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
It was just a start.
Last time you had just finished a combat with a horrific, reoccurring nightmare monster. Nana's friend, the amalgamation of women and vines, found to be the denied wives of Bragi. You all defeated the monster, released Bragi from his binds, and decided that after Gorbjorn basically played football with the head of Fenn's old dance partner, that you guys would stay the night in the temple and or tomb, depending on your point of view, for the night to get a nice long rest in, because you guys took a beating from multiple combats. Bragi helped you get back upstairs, which is when he re-injured himself. His injuries on his legs. Saga made him an outfit from the remains of the dancer's clothes. And while he was changing, Saga, you and him saw that he had marks on his stomach that were same as the chains, the gold bonds that held him in place. It was just a moment of relaxation for most people. Some music was played, a tiny hut was constructed, a warm night's sleep for most. Bragi said he would take the first watch after having a bit of a trip, after Saga dropped something into his eyes. Fenn didn't feel comfortable, said he would take the watch as well. During this, Fenn was immobilized, and a conversation was had where Bragi basically said, you can think of yourself how you'd like to. I think of you as a man, and I will not suffer your sorrow. And he went to bed quickly after. Fenn decided to stay up that night, taking all of the shifts, and is now suffering from exhaustion. The group all wakes up after the tiny hut is dispelled. All of you make your way upstairs. I believe it was Roshan, you make your way into that spooky hole from before that we decided that you weren't going to go in, but now you're going to go in. Inside, you find ashen remains of bones and people, and also a staff with sharp, kind of glowing icicles on the end. It is given to Saga, who uses it, and then it begins to hail inside. You all make your way up and out. The sled you had left at the top of the stairs, still there. The sled you have left outside, gone. Bragi says he will attempt to illuminate the bridge. He places his hands upon the spine of his father, and that is where we left off. You all watch as, pardon me, there's a moment of Bragi sitting on his knees, hands upon the spine, and there's a moment of quiet as he sits there, eyes closed. And a moment passes. You watch one illuminate and then flicker out, and then another one comes up and goes back out again. There's a bit of a flickering and on and off. And then after a moment of dark and quiet, the spine illuminates. It is not as bright as it was when Ave did it, and you can see an occasional flicker, but it is on. And you watch Bragi kind of like slump where he's sitting, and you can see sweat starting to turn to ice on his forehead. Your friend must be very powerful. Or maybe I am very weak. And he struggles to his feet.
Nana will step forward and help make sure he's steady on his feet. And she says, he was touched by Golveg, and you've had a long time off your feet, as it were. And I think between the two, things are different. But honestly, here, now, better for your help. Thank you.
Of course. If you would like me to continue with you, I am not sure I can walk currently. Using spells is incredibly tiring.
This was at our request. I would be willing to have you along at least long enough to make sure that you were safe before we parted ways, at least long enough for you to be rested enough that you could go on your way of your own power safely. What say the rest of the party?
Say.
I suppose we expected that from you, Saga.
Yes.
I did say I would assist you if there were any giants along the way. I could at least get you to your destination.
So long as you don't overextend yourself by too much. We are very grateful for what you've done for us already.
Sadly, I think I will be more of a bird, and I do not think I can fight. But I will stay and do what I can, if that is all right.
I would be more than willing to have you along.
Yeah, you can keep since we're all walking, you can keep a watch. And Saga does some magical hands, and a bunch of dancing lights pop up, and she sends a few of them beside him. There, now you can see better, and then the rest of them kind of poof out into a circle around everyone else. And now everyone can see better.
What time is it, by the way, in the game?
I mean, it's kind of morning, but I appreciate it.
It's fine.
It's very pretty, and she's excited, and you know what?
Yeah, nobody
She's the
says it.
cinnamon roll. Nobody's going to say she's wrong.
But they're so pretty, all floating there. Like little...
It's more
You
of a
are
morale
right.
thing.
It's true.
He nods and sees that like somebody has like taken out the first sled to come out, and it moves on its own as you take it out, and it's like interesting. Do all of your sleds do that?
No, this was one that we acquired from the people who killed my brother, actually. It was helpful getting up the mountain, if nothing else. There was another one like it, but we had to leave it outside, and probably the giants have had their way with it.
Well, if it's still there, possibly I can get it back for you. I can't promise much. I don't know if I hold any sway, but I will try.
Well, honestly, the one self-moving sled was far more than we started with, and I think it will do us all right. If you happen to spot it, more the better, but don't go out of your way for it. I personally would write it off as gone at this point.
All right.
Saga,
Oh, go ahead.
Saga, would you like to, I think in his current state, Bragi will only slow us down. Would you like to drive the sleigh with him?
Sure. I haven't tried that yet, but I'd love to.
It's very simple. Here, I'll show you how the controls work. It's a little
Okay.
tricky, but you'll get the hang of it.
Yes, absolutely.
So you sit yourself in the seat here. All right, and then you place your hands up here in this little alcove. You would say the word to make it move forward. Don't want it starting on you out of the blue. And then as you want it to move forward faster, you move your hands forward. And as you want it to slow down, you move your hands backwards.
Yeah,
It
like a horse.
the
Bragi
other one,
stepped
the
on the sled.
well, brace self. All right, get yourself steady. Brace yourselves. Get steady. Go.
The sled starts just plowing ahead.
There
There they go. Off into
Pull your hands back, Saga. Pull your hands back.
It's slowly, and she just kind of leaves her hands up slowly, eventually comes to a stop.
Roller coaster.
I would say like a few yards ahead of you, just as you watch it just slowly come to a stop.
I think I've gotten the hang of it.
Very good.
You'll find it comes to you a little easier the more you use it. You're doing very well to start.
Thank you. Absolutely. This is fun. Hop in, Bragi. I'm really good at this.
All right. Bragi joins you on the sled. Only a little bit of fear in the eyes.
Good idea, Ro.
Coming at us with those ideas. Is there anything else before you guys start going forward? And I'm assuming Gorbjorn is taking control. of the other-
Gorbjorn has sorry?
No, just that Gorbjorn's probably getting Ave's sled.
That was what I was going to inquire. Gorbjorn, you've got the sled all right?
Yeah.
Ave is secure, he's all right?
Double checks the ropes and like gives it a good tug. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
We
All
know
right.
what gear we lost on the sled that was left outside.
I
There
don't think
wasn't
we
any.
left any. We pulled it all in with us.
All right.
Most gear was on the manual sled. So it came in with you and Ave. The useful sled, maybe not for speed, but for storage, I suppose.
you know, for transportation of goods and persons.
Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about before you move forward? All right. You all start to go. Saga beginning to figure out how the sled works, doing their best. Gosh, what would be a good one for that? Roll me straight dexterity, please.
Okay.
First time for everything.
Hey. I'm not bad at dexterity. Oh, nat 20.
Oh, you handle like a pro.
I think I got the hang of it.
You're born to drive this sled.
I do like a drift and turn around. I think I actually got it, guys.
Born to be wild.
Doing a donut.
Yeah, absolutely. Bragi's like, oh.
Anytime you do something that just isn't driving straight ahead, like Bragi like kind of puts an arm like around you, like just to steady himself because his legs
Saga
are
might
so
not be
wobbly.
mad about that.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm like, yay. Put one arm around him, drive with one hand. He's even
Yeah.
You all make your way forward. You know what? Everybody besides Saga, who I think is having a good bit of fun, can give me perception rolls.
I missed who you were saying except about.
Except
sorry.
Saga.
Ah, gotcha.
I got an 18.
All right.
It's a 15.
10.
7.
A mighty 7 as well.
Ooh.
But oh guys, see y'all.
Gorbjorn, as you're making your way forward, you kind of squint your eyes and you stop for a moment. It's a bit hard to see because they are all so white, but you see what looks like a bit in the distance are like giant igloos. Just huge igloos.
How far ahead is Saga from us?
Hey, Saga, how far ahead do you think you are?
I do go further ahead, but I continue to like a drift U-turn and pull back, and then kind of drift back behind everybody and go forward. So I mean, it just depends on the time, but I'm usually around.
So hopefully by the time she's going around and trying to get in front again, I would be like, Saga, slow. I see. House. Ice?
Oh, ice house? Oh, okay. Yeah, she pulls up beside everybody else.
And everybody could have heard that. Sorry.
Yeah. You're born.
Where is it?
Just pointing
Gorbjorn
off into
says
the
there's
distance.
ice houses.
Yeah, when he points, you can see like a faint sort of outline of just something a little bit different than the rest of the landscape. Just a little bit.
Can you tell how big they are from here?
Big?
Big enough for a giant or big enough for a human?
Giant.
You think so?
No.
Margaret's like, I'm doing my best.
I understand.
It's like I saw it. That's all I got.
All right. No, that's fair. That's fine. That's fine. I
Well-
think, well, my thought is that that's probably where the frost giants are living, and we don't want to go there. I don't believe.
Yeah, you can see that it's built basically like the spine is a road up ahead, and these igloos kind of line it like a little
Oh.
neighborhood. Not very
Oh.
big, but
Oh.
a very tiny neighborhood.
Does it look like there's any way around that little neighborhood that might like go around that and join back up with the spine?
Well, one way to your right, it looks like you would hit ledge before you get past Igloo Town. The second way is it would involve probably some climbing gear.
Ooh.
It would
I
just
think if they're awake, they already know something is amiss. We've just lit this track up through their town. You know, for
Want
the
me to blow horn?
second time.
I don't think that would help, no, Gorbjorn, but thank you.
Well, it's possible if we announce our coming that we might be received more warmly than if we're just caught trespassing. He might have a good idea.
Like when I have to ring bell to get into Gulvig.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
you are right, it's not dissimilar to the gate process at Galanda. Well, all right, if no one has any sincere objections, let's try.
I doot the horn.
Doot the horn!
I won't let anybody let me follow my dream of being a hornist.
Tordrick like puts his hand over his eyes, just peeking with one hand, like, "Oh my god." He's very frightened at this. Ooh.
Does Nana notice? Nana's kind of checking in on the group anyway. Does she notice Tordrick kind of looking?
Oh, I'm sure. Tordrick has not made it a secret that he has not enjoyed any of these giant encounters.
That's fair. Nana will kind of like set herself sort of in front of a little bit to one side of Tordrick, but like, you know, enough between him and the giants that she can be at least like, you know, a meat shield and or something to hide behind. Or something to hide behind, you know, what have you, so that, you know, just to give Tordrick a little bit of confidence.
You hear a whisper of, how far away are you from him?
Some protection.
Just fairly close. You hear him whisper, "Thank you."
Think nothing of it, my friend.
Should Would you like me to be at the front?
Do you think they would receive you well?
I cannot promise anything, but I am half giant. And there was a bit of respect in the day.
Gorbjorn's like slowly like sizing himself height-wise. Like half giant? What? Like
Yeah, Gorbjorn, you have height on this guy. He's not.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, half giant.
If you think that perhaps your mother's name might do some good to smooth our way through, such that we don't need combat with these people, I think that would be well.
All right.
Can I also stand in the front? I want to meet some new people.
I think she would certainly be the friendliest face of the lot of us.
I can speak giant. I can talk to them as well.
Yes, we could be the welcoming party. Both of us can speak giant.
And if nothing else, I can be the interpreter for the rest of the party. I can also speak giant.
Wow.
So can I, but I think I better keep my mouth.
Perhaps it would be best.
You guys just have giant telephone where it's like they say something and then you say it to the next person. It just makes it through back. All right. Let's go, Saga.
Right.
Doot doot.
To make your way forward on the sled and take a bit of a, not too much ahead of the group, I would say, but definitely the front of the party. You all make your way forward, and you can see that, like, as you approach, it's like you keep expecting the igloos to get, like, kind of stay small like they are in the distance, but they just keep growing and growing until you are looking at, like, I would say some of these larger than, like, your own home. Like, it definitely does not look to be like, wow, giants are so comfortable in here. But it's like, a giant could get in there. It's basically the setup of it. Not that it's meant to be lived in incredibly comfortably.
Just really quick for the party, I would suggest we do not mention that we had a previous altercation with any frost giants upon this mountain.
They might recognize that horn.
They might. That is something we will deal with should it come up. If anyone asks, we found it in a ditch.
Saga looks a little disappointed because her first line was going to be, "Hello, remember me?" So she's got to think of something new.
Scribbles out a line on a piece of paper like,
Yeah.
I don't think bringing up any interaction between us and these people in a combat context will get us through here alive, or without needing to cause a lot more damage than I think we need to be causing right now.
all right. As Saga begins to rethink their opener, you can see that you haven't exactly been super stealthy, especially because you guys were trying to be like, hey, we're here. Don't be mad at us. And slowly you watch as one of the giants sort of makes their way from around one of the igloos, having heard something. And you watch as he, like, reaches for his horn. He's kind of, like, looking at you guys, and he starts to reach for his horn, and you watch Bragi raise his arms and begin to speak in giant. For people who can understand, which is half the party. You hear him say, hello, brothers. And he steps off the sled and steps a bit ahead of you, Saga. And you see the giant, he has the horn, and he's looking at Bragi, and he seems confused. But
Brother,
Hey, brother.
excuse?
who's brother? See. You watch as the giant keeps the horn in one hand, but starts to make his way forward, and he keeps a bit of distance, and he looks over the group and sees multiple, and in Giant replies with, "Whose brother?" And he looks at Saga and he's like, "That's an incredibly good question. I'm not exactly a giant's brother."
Brothers of giants. It's the friend sort of brother. It's nice to meet you.
"It is nice to meet you." And Bragi just mimics your motions.
I'm here for it.
I thought he's the bard. Why am I?
He hasn't talked to anybody in a long time.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he's a little out of practice, but that's all right.
Saga, I'm going to give you roll me persuasion with advantage because Bragi is helping you.
No hi, no whammies.
Whoa! Wow. Okay. That was a 3 and a 9. Good rolls today. So 13.
Okay. Okay, I'm rolling garbage, so that's fine.
Oh, that's good.
Oh!
Me, on the other hand, terrible. The giant kind of looks at you and then looks over the group and is just kind of making like very obvious head motions, like looking and trying to like count everybody, and then gets to Tordrek in the back, who's kind of like and he squints. Bragi kind of clears his throat loudly and continues in Giant. "We were hoping that I could make my way, Bragi Odinson, to the temple along this road, and that I could cure you of this sickness." One moment.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Ugh.
No!
No! You mean the 19, right? That's what you meant?
The giant kind of looks at him.
Oh.
"Where were you when sickness happened?" I feel like I'm getting this question a lot. I was... One moment, he turns to Saga. "I feel like they won't respect me if I say that I was tied up."
Say you were dead.
He jumps in. "I was dead, and I am now
Lady
alive."
Satyr brought him back to life.
Lady Satyr.
is the savior of everyone.
She is my savior.
Yes. And now that he is back, he's ready to cure all of the corruption.
I am ready to cure all of the corruption. Saga, give me deception with advantage.
Okay.
I'm here for it. Come on.
Oh, please.
Oh, hi, no whammies. Come on.
Okay. That's a 21.
The giant. The
My
giant.
cult grows.
You kind of think.
Join me.
"Lady Satyr has saved Bragi. Cure corruption." And you watch as he turns and he blows his horn. And Bragi's like, "Maybe that's good."
Yeah, and Saga does a minor illusion of like a woman's voice singing in the breeze, in the wind. And
Beautiful.
when the horn blows, it like sounds like a beautiful lady.
Amazing.
The giant is astounded.
She calls to us even now. So pleased.
He blows the horn again.
Oh my god.
Like hand gestures of magic behind her back.
It takes a moment, but you see there's about 7 frost giants that make their way, and they're all kind of there, and like each one, it's almost the same scene of one of them comes up, sees the situation, runs forward, the other one puts their arm out and is like, they brought Lady Satyr and Bragi to save us. And they're like, oh, and then they put their weapon away. And this continues with each giant that runs.
my god,
like, "Oh, of course."
amazing. Amazing.
Until there's just a line of giants kind of like all sort of standing there. It's almost like a little audience waiting for something. Yes. Giants, friends, we need to pass so that we may go to the temple and save you. So says the Lady Satyr. They don't seem to be like feeling Bragi as much. They're like, yeah, okay, hype guy.
All right, okay.
And Saga says, and as a token of our appreciation and that we will be back, Saga runs to everybody and starts taking those necklaces off.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and hands them out. Tokens of Lady Satyr's love to you all. I apologize that they are so small, but she could only spare but a token of her power for you. There will be more to fight the corruption.
One of them tries to like put it on their arm, and then the other one's like kind of twisted around their finger.
Adorable.
And one of them kind of like puts it on like a gnarled tooth that's a little wrong. And they're all just kind of standing there awkwardly with their little symbols, and they're like, and one of them just, and then they all start clapping, and just in giant a chant of
Satyr.
I'll turn to Gorbjorn and be like, I think Bragi name dropped himself and they didn't like it, so somehow they name dropped Lady Satyr and now they do like it. I think we should get moving.
Blow horn?
Sure, they seem happy.
All right,
Celebratory blowhorn. Doot doot. Hooray! Lady Satyr. Doot doot.
Level cleared.
Roderick's mouth's open like he can't believe this is just happening. Like I've never seen anything
Nana
this crazy
is
when I've been drunk,
translating
you know?
this for Tordrick as it's happening.
Tordrick's like, I'm tripping balls. This is ridiculous.
I guess just so
So
good at
they
making
all love
friends.
Lady Satyr now.
Like, yes, thank you, Lady Satyr. And Bragi just kind of mimics what you do and say, because he's like, it doesn't seem what I'm doing is working and you're doing better.
His whole thing was, I'll help you with the giants this whole time.
He's here to emotionally support you with the giants.
Yes. He's very good at the emotional support.
They all sort of make way on the spine for you all to pass as you make your way forward, and you have to kind of go under this bridge of giant that's just sort of looming and like clapping loudly over you as they chant.
Amazing.
You see one of them as you all make your way slowly by, and all of you are moving along the spine just to check that all of you are like, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
You can see, one moment. Tordrek, right as you're one of the last people out, you see one of the giants isn't clapping and is looking at Gorbjorn, but isn't doing anything.
Tordrick will, as best he can, slowly move towards Gorbjorn, not looking at him and saying, One of them doesn't favor you very well, I don't think. He's giving you the look. And Tordrick will look at the giants that are clapping and see if any of them have like a drinking horn or some type of alcohol in them. He may put his horn up like, "Can you spare a brother some ale?"
Ooh.
Oh.
Because he is empty.
Go ahead and roll me either perception or investigation. I'll give you
Oh.
advantage because I feel like you
I'll
can
help him
spot-
out with that. I'll translate it
horn
for him
anyway.
and
I can.
I rolled a
spot a horn
13.
14.
13. Just regular roll with bonus.
With advantage?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
you-
want to do advantage? Okay, let me roll once more then. Oh, that one's 18.
Oh, there you go. At first, you don't see it, and then your eyes zero in. You see one of them has a drinking horn. Yeah, pretty big.
Oh, he takes his regular dwarven-sized perfect one, and he looks over and he says,
I
Exactly.
say to the giant, my friend would love to sample some of your village's wonderful ale if you can spare a little.
You see that the giant sort of like looks you guys over, and then looks kind of back to like Saga and Bragi
You know.
presenting the group as they move forward.
Hooray!
And looks at his little favor of Lady Satyr he has like on his finger, and he's like, okay, and like just takes it, and it's an aggressive pour.
Oh boy, a goosh.
Your container is full, and
Woo!
is the ground around you.
Feel a shower. And, oh yeah. Towards
like,
my hair a
And
bit.
it's all up in his
Oh, yeah.
beard. You
Oh
can
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm good to go now. Tordrick's ready to rock and roll.
just like
Goes-
suck it out of your beard for a while.
Oh yeah. That's absolutely. The flavor
Thank
saver.
you.
Oh yeah, baby.
Thank you so much.
He bows several times, then moves back over quickly. Rather
you
scared
see-
to death.
You see the giant, Nana, as you start to make your way back to the group following Tordrick. You see the giant, who you realize after a moment is a giantess. As they watch Tordrick go, they lean over to the other giant next to them. In giant. Like, he's cute, right? Is that weird? And the other giant kind of looks back like, yes, that's weird, but that's about the extent of
You do you, boo.
I kind of like make
He
my
hits
way
me right
slowly
there.
back over to the group and kind of like slide in next to Tordrick, and I sort of murmur under my breath, "You seem to have an admirer."
Ooh. Oh.
The lovely lady who poured you some drink.
Lady.
Yes.
He looks back and he looks back and squints.
She's a giantess. Don't be rude.
Oh,
Player DM, does she have a beard?
Do dwarf women have beards?
Oh,
dwarf women,
yes. The
100%.
best looking ones have beard.
Only
Oh.
the most beautiful. If they don't, something's wrong.
Correct.
You can see that it is not as, I would say it is not as impressive as a dwarven beard. It is white and seems to just kind of be closer, more like a longer stubble situation, and just kind of like little bits of ice that give it a bit more length, but it is not a long flowing beard.
Tordrick looks from a distance how tall she is and looks at that big old horn of drinking. We may need some extra rope. It's going to be a hell of a climb to give her a kiss.
When you have to prepare, you're like, okay,
Hurry!
if I want a giant girlfriend, need rope. all of
See,
you. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was only going to say, see, Tordrick, giants aren't so bad once you get to know them.
One swing and they take me out.
Well,
I guess everything around here is like that, though.
well, in fairness, most everything's like that for me as well.
Oh, I do owe her a drink. Well, I suppose on the way back, I can thank her I'm not gonna do it the dwarven way though. No.
Not a
No.
dwarf.
Yes.
I won't
I,
ask.
Yes. Don't. Yes. He's.
Oh, you muted yourself.
Oh no! Mute.
Steam starts coming from his head as he gets very embarrassed. He turns really red. He's like, oh. He keeps looking over there, going, oh
no.
my goodness. Oh, he's really, boy, I'll tell you what, that's for Tordrick, that's a hell of a thing. So he doesn't know what to do. He's got all kinds of cross.
And Nana kind of like pats him on the shoulder and says,
Yeah.
honestly, you did very well.
Obviously. I didn't know I didn't know I had it in me.
You all make your way forward and eventually get past the.
You are a dwarf of many talents, my friend.
Some I didn't know about.
New skill.
He starts whistling, singing a song now. He's like, suddenly, time to have a party. Yes. There's. Shoot.
You all start to make your way through the small igloo neighborhood, and eventually kind of get past and see that there's kind of like it looks like you left a bit of a celebration in your wake, with the promise of this goddess curing their diseases. As you all make your way forward, Bragi looks to you, Saga. That was very good.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Saga just wants to leave one last. She uses her mold earth to do a little Lady Satyr symbol in the ruts of where their their sled skis were. It changes into a Lady Satyr symbol the whole way, kind of like
amazing.
Yeah, and I think it went quite well. Thank you for the help there. Hopefully on the way back I can get some bigger rocks and carve some Lady Satyr symbols that are a little larger to suit them better.
I can't promise we'll be able to safely go through a second time, but if we do, well,
why not?
We promised them something, and I do not think we can deliver.
I was going to ask about that. It seems to me that we might be able to perhaps put on something of a show. If we needed to come back through that village, we could make some excuses about the ritual not working correctly, stars aren't in alignment, so on and so forth. All sorts of things that can impede the efficiency of a magical ritual, I suppose. But
we're here to cure the corruption. If we're not doing that, why are we even here?
The corruption around Galunda, Fen. That is what we're here to cure. And it would be wonderful if we could extend that cure to everywhere as we go, but as it is, the torch we're seeking is only going to be able to bolster the protection of Gulveg around Galunda.
Then we travel back through here and we bring them with us to a place they can safely dwell. They were made a promise by gods.
Bragi,
to be delivered from their troubles. Let us lead them with us to safety.
I wouldn't have expected that from you, but your point's well made.
I have no qualms with that. That is more, I think, an issue of men and giants, how safe one may feel. But leading them further from the corruption, though they seem to dwell in it quite deeply. I will say, it has been a while, but I will tell you, Ave said that if this works, it would protect all of the West.
Oh, I had not remembered that.
Maybe not exactly the Valley, but the West. So it is going to be quite the expanse.
Right.
That's the goal.
Gorbjorn, how large a space in the mountains near to Galunda do you think would be habitable?
Or giant?
Sure. A village this size, do you think it could suit the area? Perhaps one of the close by regions near to your cabin?
I need to make like a check for that, don't I?
Probably.
Go ahead and give me, a survival check. I think would be fine for that. Do I think could survive here as big giant? Maybe.
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 That's a 9, so I'm like,
Eh,
Maybe.
Sure.
50-50. Yeah, fine.
That's. Oh wow.
Well-
I hope Lady Sader's next mission is something to do with. That sounds wonderful. That's a great idea, Fen.
They're people, not beasts. They don't belong here.
Mm.
How could anyone dwell amongst this corruption? We made them a promise that we would bring them safety, and if we cannot, then we must bring them from this place, if they will follow us.
That is rather the largest aspect of the problem, but I think perhaps with enough good persuasion and some goodwill from Lady Sada, and perhaps one more helpful word from Bragi, maybe we can successfully convince them to travel out of the valley. It seems like they've probably dwelt here quite some time if they haven't moved on, but perhaps they will be willing to make the sacrifice of the village in order to pursue a certain safety.
It would be much easier to travel with more friends.
You're not wrong. All right. Well,
Meeting them might be an issue.
perhaps they'd be willing to assist us in hunting. I don't know. I don't know what it is they feed upon around these parts, but
I think this is
maybe they'd be better at finding it than we are. They know the land.
it's a very noble idea, and I think it is something we can consider. Once we have completed your goal, I think we can make a game plan.
I think that's reasonable. We still have our first and most important goal in front of us, and other things besides, but that is for later. For right now, yes, we must continue along the path and hope to all the gods that we can make it to the oasis soon.
Yes.
All right. You all continue forward, following along the spine, luckily illuminated, because you can see, like, even in fair lighting, seeing the spine is a bit difficult, especially going through certain parts where the snow becomes higher, but you can just still see the illumination of these glyphs from underneath. You make your way forward, and the day passes, and the spine continues on. You think within the hour and a half, you may start losing the sun. Would you like to try and find a place to set up camp?
I will leave this to the group. Do we want to press on and lose the light in the process, though maybe, hopefully, we can find the oasis before that, or do we strike camp?
Well, like, how close are we to, like, the top of this mountain?
I mean, you see huge peaks above you. You are not near the top of the mountain. You guys aren't sure exactly where it leads. Bragi guesstimated that you couldn't be incredibly far, but you're not sure. You would assume the road does not incline for you to hopefully do climbing, but you don't know that for certain either. So you could be very close, or it could be a few more days. You're uncertain.
I'm very exhausted.
I think
Although-
we'll.
It might be prudent to keep moving. My spellcraft should keep us safe, but it can only do so for 8 hours. If we stop now and take a rest, then we will be waking up very early in the morning.
I have my lights out. If I can keep the path lit at least.
Well, if we've light enough to carry on for, say, another hour, 2 hours perhaps. How long do you have on your spell, bro?
What do you mean? I'm not casting any spells.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Well,
About how late is it, if I may ask?
I mean, you think, visually about an hour and a half before sunset.
Yeah, okay.
then if you're tired, you can ride with Bragi and I can walk. You can drive and then you two can ride in the car together.
I have no complaint.
All right. Saga hops off.
Ben,
Who
have you driven one of these?
I have not driven one of these. I'll just press on. Saga, you drive the cart.
Oh, but I'm all right.
I'll rest when we stop for rest.
But
And are you certain you're all right to continue?
I'm fine. I'm
insight.
I'm feeling at least 14 of 39 all right.
Can I bolster you at all?
Not worth your efforts. We'll just press on until we find a place that's safe to stop.
All right.
Saga, did you want to insight?
I would like to see what if he's because it sounds like he's lying at this point, but I don't think Ben does that. But
He's not lying. He just prefers to. He's not going to get any rest from operating the sled. He just prefers to either stop and make a safe place to stay, or to just keep going to hopefully reach this oasis. He's not lying. He thinks he can continue.
okay.
He knows he's hurt. He knows he's exhausted, but he's not. But he knows he can press on.
Okay.
So he's not being deceptive. He's just, he's just being proud.
Yeah. The insight's more. Does he look like he can keep going?
I mean, you're welcome to roll insight.
As far as exhaustion goes.
Usually with these, if you're doing anything like towards each other, I let the player roll, and then I ask the person who is being incited what they see at that number. So you can go ahead and roll insight if you would like to.
Like, Fen could think, yes, I can keep going, but like, it could be that he passes out from exhaustion even though he thinks he's...
You're going more for the visuals and not exactly how Fen emotionally feels about it.
Yeah. 17.
17. Could you say what she would see if she looked at you with a 17?
You would see Fen looking not great. I mean, he's got a hole in his chest where he was skewered by a vine monster. He looks tired, even though she's never seen him tired or need to sleep before. He doesn't exactly sleep like a human would, but he's not he's not being his quick, speedy, nimble self. He's kind of dragging towards the back of the pack.
Well, if it's driving that you would rather not do, you could ride with us. I think 3 of us could fit on here if we just squeeze a bit. Or
I'd need 4 hours of having my eyes closed and not doing anything to gain any sort of rest. So either we stop as a group and do that, or we press on until we find a place that we feel is safe to.
just trying to help you rest your feet.
I understand. And
All right.
I'll leave it to Nana to decide whether or not she wants to rest.
It's different, but okay. Saga gets back on the sled and looks dejected.
Sadly sledding away. Just
Yeah.
Sadly scoots into the distance.
Yeah.
Fen, if you are certain you can carry on, I'd feel better if we got 1 more hour up the mountain and then we can rest.
That's fine. Let's go.
All right.
Press on another hour.
All right.
You all continue forward another hour. Fen, would you roll me a con check? Which I believe you'll be doing at disadvantage.
Check or save?
Check. Actually, save. My bad.
Oh, okay. Do I have disadvantage? Well, I rolled an 18 on the dice on both of those, so that's a 19 overall, whether it's a check or a save.
Okay. You're pushing forward, and the thing is, I mean, you've made it aware you're tired, but that you can push on. There's a moment while you're walking where there's just like a feeling in your chest, just for a moment, and you feel very cold. And you kind of have to like blink your eyes back into focus, but you are able to maintain focus and keep pushing forward. But it's just a strange sensation you really haven't felt before.
Old, even considering
Yeah.
everything going on here.
Yeah, it is even like the cold that it is like hits into the bones. It's so cold here. But this one just, it's almost just maybe less physical. There's almost just like a deep, cold sensation. And then you pull yourself back out and continue forward. You are able to push out of it.
As Nana's kind of checking over the group, she's doing this more habitually as the journey goes on. I'm sure people are noticing.
Like a little camp counselor, just keeping track, like, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, got it.
Yep. Just doing the head count periodically. Does Nana pick up on that from Fen?
Go ahead and roll insight, and I will tell you if this number is high enough.
Fair enough. This is not going to be high enough. Total of 4.
You look at Fen. You've never seen him really this tired. But you're like, it's just a new thing to see. But you don't see anything past that.
Okay. I'll be checking on Fen maybe twice as often as everybody else. Maybe once at the start of the count and once at the end of the count. Yeah.
You all make your way. About an hour passes. You do not see anything, and it is starting to get dark.
All right, then. Okay. No oasis yet. Let's start looking for a good place to set up camp.
Somebody, 2 people can give me survival checks.
I have a +4. Who's got higher?
I've got a +5.
Disadvantage.
Ooh.
5.
Roshan coming in hot with that survival.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
total of 9.
Oh no.
Our second roller.
Oh,
Someone else
Uh-oh.
could do better.
I'll do it, but it'll be a disadvantage.
I think Nana did it.
Oh,
I don't.
Nana,
is-
what'd you roll?
I did not roll, but I
Oh,
will. Total is 16.
Okay. Roshan, you're like, it all looks like wasteland to me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's valid. I mean,
It's
it
all
is.
snow and wasteland.
It
Yeah.
is, though.
You do know you're in a situation, though, Nana, where if Roshan is willing, you do get the tiny hut. So there is a type of safety in that,
Mm-hmm.
but there is not a lot of cover in this area. It's pretty flat in a lot of spots. Okay. You do see one point where like a kind of big jagged rock has sort of made like a itty bitty pride rock situation. That's the most coverage you can find.
All right. Okay. We're not in a very well covered area. I think our best bet is going to be to set up the tiny hut over there. And Nana points out the spot that you mentioned to the party. We can set it up as something of a windbreak. Is that close enough to any kind of like cliff or anything tall enough that we might be able to rig up the hoist for Ave's sled, or would we not have sufficient lifting surfaces for that?
Certainly not that kind of situation.
All right then.
I would like to try, though, also leaving him underneath the canopy for the night. I don't think the corruption should be able to get under my spell or through its defenses, but I'm not sure.
We can try. We can try, and it would be a good thing to know regardless, wouldn't it?
Yes.
All right.
We're sleeping with him in the dome.
It isn't ideal, but if it might keep the corruption at bay such that we don't have to keep moving him or checking on him throughout the night, it might be well.
Oh, okay.
I'm not exactly high-spirited about it myself, but if it would keep Ave safer until we can get him where he needs to be, then all the better.
I understand. I'll go move the snow. Saga does her mold earth to start pushing some snow around.
Saga's like, I just gotta focus on something besides I'm about to have to deal with.
That's valid. Nana's still not fully processing it, kind of on purpose.
And the thing is, things have changed a little bit because of the introduction of Tiny Hut TM.
Tiny Hut TM, that's right.
And you all could get a straight 8 hours if you wanted to. And Fen could do, I believe, 1 watch. And it would get you through the 8 hours. You honestly could do, if you felt comfortable, no watches. The hut, if I'm right, Roshan, it's supposed to be like a protective barrier.
Yeah, yep.
Which he told you about last time.
I mean, at this point, I think Fen needs 2 back-to-back long rests. 1 to get rid of the first level of exhaustion, and then 1 to recover hit points, spell slots, everything else.
You can do that.
Can he do that? Can he do that?
Yeah.
Can he go back-to-back with long rests?
I mean, you could be out. You could just conk out for 8 hours. I don't see.
Yeah, but but just not having any time between. Could he do long rest? Like, would that work to get him back to full?
Tordrick offers to, as you're looking to make camp, Tordrick does offer before he rests to offers him the miracles of the 9 sisters to make you feel better as you take that one watch if you're going to before you rest, i.e. that he still has a bit of healing left he can give to you, which will help in the part about wanting to take too long rest to get to full. He might be able to help you with that.
Yeah. I will say, and I could be very much wrong about this, and I'm happy for discussion. I thought that if you got your solid, like you got your own full rest in, that you would get rid of your exhaustion and be all tip top by fixing everything.
Yeah, I think our rules lawyer just chimed in the
Ooh, I
in
love
the
that.
chat here.
I love a good rules
as
lawyer.
written. No.
Rules as written.
Okay, cool. I
Oh, nifty. That's good.
I love when I get rules lawyered, but I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Rules lawyered into being right is always nice.
I appreciate rules lawyers when I'm right.
Yeah.
Everybody's full hit points, you all win. Game's over.
DM not follow the rules called Josh and Christo.
Yeah.
Go back to back.
We'll get your roll.
So you should be fine, I think, then, Fen.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be all right.
I'll be fine.
I just want to say how thankful I am that every time I think that we have a problem in front of us, I just look over my shoulder and Josh has been there with a solution already. That's
at the ready.
Josh coming in clutch.
So the thing
That's
is,
a lot of
you all
D&D.
rest the whole time.
Yeah.
And not have anybody take watch. That's fine.
Honestly,
nobody
I think that Nana would take one watch just because she feels the need to, but outside of that, I don't think she would make anybody else take one. I think it might just be the first one at the start of the night, just to make sure everything stays quiet until...
Okay, the tiny hut would be gone before you finished your complete rest. And everybody will be long rested by that time.
Oh, I see. Then never mind. I'm going to huddle with everybody else. I don't know logistics, I only know feelings.
I feel like I would like it to work. Yeah, just big
So I need to pray. So Tordrick needs to pray. So how's that going to work with the rest as well?
I mean, currently everybody's getting set up. If you wanted to take time now before the tiny hut is up, you're welcome to.
Okay, I'm going to do that then.
Okay.
Nana will kind of also take a moment and step aside and pray to Gulvig. There's a lot on her mind.
Everybody praying can give me a religion check if they'd like to.
Saga's going to as well. I was just waiting.
Perfect.
So when Tordrick goes to pray, he's going to put his horn down like in a spot next to one of the sleds and goes, "I left some. If anybody wants some, I'm sharing. It's not bad."
I should hope so, coming from your new flame.
Oh, what?
Nothing. Ooh.
Bragi is going to join in as well.
He's praying to Satyr.
Of course.
He sees Saga set up and then's like, oh, all right. And he kind
Guess
of
that's what Lady Satyr's followers do.
he sets up a little bit away and looks like he's praying. What did you get, Tordrick?
I got a 10.
Okay.
Something
Nana?
about that flame thing threw me off.
He's just thinking about just big women.
Oh man.
Dream of big women.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Yeah, all of
I
us.
mean, mood.
We're all
Honestly, yes.
distracted now.
Crush me, you Amazon beauty. I got a dirty 20.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
And Saga?
I got a 16. No, there's nothing to add.
Okay. Tordrick, nothing too fancy happens, but I feel like for you there is just like something nice that comes from praying, something grounding, and you do get that from it. Just the act of ritual and knowing it's there is enough, but it's nothing extra.
Revelatory.
Saga, what'd you say you got again?
A 16.
Okay.
She's doing an update on the progress of cult.
We converted a whole village of giants.
Yeah.
Hi, Lady Satyr. So today, you don't exactly, and you're kind of used to it, not exactly getting replies. But you look up at the stars after you're done as they're starting to slowly appear in the sky. And you're like, you're pretty sure if you crossed some lines on those, they would make the symbol of Lady Satyr. Pretty sure about it.
Yeah.
You're like, there's enough of them, and you
Yeah.
feel like she's watching over you, considering you made it through the events and you're continuing on your trek.
I do a little minor illusion just for myself and connect them.
You're like, wow, she's great. Nana, tell me how you go about trying to talk to Golvig.
Okay. She kind of posts up near Ave, and she concentrates on the memory of sitting with Ave and Ave telling her one of the many stories that he has about Golveg, and she says, I know that he was your beloved, and I am no replacement, but I need some help. I'm trying my best to do as he asked, to do as you asked. I just want to succeed and to bring these people home safely. And things are different every day. Wildly different than they ever have been before, and if you could spare a little of your light, I would be appreciative.
You sit for a while next to Ave, remembering stories and remembering prayer directed at Golveg and pleading for assistance. You feel nothing. There's no reply. There is no sense of warmth. There is nothing.
I understand.
And that, on a beautiful note, is where we are going to take our break for today. We are going to take a somber 10-minute break. We all can sit with our feelings for a moment. You guys can do a snack. We'll be back in exactly 10 minutes, and we'll continue the story and see what happens in the morning, or maybe what happens tonight. You guys in 10 minutes.
Angry cats.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for sticking around, or also thank you for joining us for On the Backs of Gods. When we left off, the party had just gone through a giant town. Tordrek found a beautiful woman, 4 times his height, but the party moved along, found a place to set up for the night. Some prayers were had, some successful, some not so much. And that is where we left off. Currently, we have not had the effects of the tiny hut up yet. Is there anything people are doing before you go into full lockdown mode?
Ben's gonna pour himself a drink of that giant ale. He's gonna pour one for Gorbjorn as well.
Okay.
Just kind of make his way over to Gorbjorn. I'm not gonna be very much help tonight, I'm afraid. If anything happens, just yell loudly. I know that you can.
I have one skill.
Hit things.
Didn't say
My
that was his
passion is
only
yelling.
skill. It's just a very.
my true passion.
He's got lots of skills. He's just exceptional at that one.
Okay. You guys have a nice drink. You prep for the night.
Saga's looking for nice, large, pretty rocks to carve more Lady Satyr symbols.
Roll perception.
That's going to be a 21.
Okay. As you're pushing snow around, occasionally you'll see just like a little rock kind of tumble into view, and you'll be like, "Thank you very much." Let's see. You find 2 rocks that fit what you want to do.
Perfect.
So you don't find as many as you would like, but you find 2 that you could start working on.
Okay. Yeah. She'll just, as everybody's setting up camp, she'll just get started with that tonight.
Bragi comes up to you. Is it all right if I use your dulcimer to play while you work?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like some accompaniment.
He nods, and while everybody's sort of setting up, you can see that he's very tired. He sits down and just sort of softly plays the dulcimer while everybody kind of continues doing what they're doing, getting ready. Roshan, are you ready, sir?
Yes. After everyone has finished up some pre-bedtime things, Roshan will sit in the middle of the camp as best he can and start, I guess we'll change it to humming, since whistling does not quite work, and he will hum and it almost looks like the snow from the ground starts to pull itself up into a large, this time white-colored dome that should blend in with the surrounding snow. And after 10 minutes of performance, it is created.
All right.
And then almost immediately afterward, he will heat himself a cup of water and, as sneakily as he can, put some herbs into it so he can go to sleep.
Give me a sleight of hand if you are being so sneaky.
Of course.
Can we percept him?
If you think you would have been like one of the first ones to like bulldoze into that circle, you are welcome.
I doubt it, honestly. Nana's probably going to be the last one in, just kind of checking to
21.
make sure everybody's kosher.
Gorbjorn sees everything.
Gorbjorn sees. Oh.
What did you get, Roshan?
That was a 12.
Gorbjorn's one of the first ones in, and you see that he's very sneaky. He's like, but besides that, nothing else. Yeah, go ahead.
Her passive perception would have seen. She would have been the first ones in there. She wasn't actively looking, but her passive sees that.
Yeah. I'll say you saw it as well.
There's nothing to worry about.
Everything is fine.
I just I don't know what that is. What kind of tea is that?
It is some
Sleepy time.
tea that helps me sleep.
Oh.
Honestly, I couldn't recommend it to anyone else. Not
No.
very tasty.
I mean, I was thinking tonight I might have some trouble sleeping. I'm just a little uncomfortable. I understand why he needs to be in here, but it's just a little strange. Do you think it would help me?
Who needs to be in there?
Ave.
Well, Ave, the dead
Oh.
body sitting beside us.
Oh.
The dead body sitting 2 feet away.
Well, what makes you uncomfortable about it?
This is I was sleeping so close to someone who's passed away is a little bit strange. It's a new experience.
I mean, in fairness, a dead body in and of itself is something that probably feels very wrong to all of us, just as a thing that exists in this world.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a good feeling that it will be more protected from the corruption inside this inside the spell than outside of it. But
yeah.
I suppose if you would like some tea to help you sleep, I can probably spare a bit. If you would like.
I mean, if it's if you only have a little bit, I wouldn't want to. I mean, if it's I could trade. I can see if I have something in my bag.
No worries. I can get as much of it as I want once we get back to Golunder. So here, I'll make you a cup.
Okay. Saga kind of digs into her bag anyway, and she pulls out a jar of honey that's like almost gone. There's some bits in there that have fallen in from something, who knows. And if you'd like, you said it didn't taste very good. I have some honey. We could add it to yours and mine and anyone.
Yeah, I think that would make it taste much better. Thank you.
Sweet.
Okay.
Like honey.
You two have a nice cup of onset. Saga, can you do a con save for me, please?
Okay. I'm clueless. So I have a high con, but that's 13.
Okay. You definitely can feel the effects of like the sedation, and a bit of like a head feeling where it's kind of like your head's swimming a little bit, but you're very tired now.
It's like my brain is a jellyfish, and the air is water, and the stars must be bubbles?
Or fish.
Oh, that's a better idea.
Saga is out. Bragi has entered the tiny hut. And as he walks by, Roshan, he places a hand on your shoulder. You're a very talented bard. They're lucky to have you.
I try my best. Thank you. And Roshan is looking like he's edging on sleep too, but he just kind of keeps looking tireder and tireder and tireder until he passes out.
Just trying to, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Bragi is going to set up near Saga. He does not pass out instantly as she does, but he does lay down. Is everybody else coming to lay down inside of the tiny hut?
So
Nana will be last in, but yeah.
So every time they've ever seen Fen rest, he's sitting cross-legged, upright. This time, he was laying supine until Bragi came in and he scooted himself back up, and now he's going to sit upright like he normally would. He was just a moment away from laying out and relaxing to take his rest, and He's going to take his rest. He's going to sleep or meditate, but he is not going to lay down and do it.
Are we going to have to onset you?
He's resting.
It's not going to do anything.
He can't be. Well, actually, it's not magic.
Oh, okay.
It's just an herb.
Yeah, so it would have some sort of effect.
No, he's gonna. Finn's gonna rest. He's not gonna be as comfortable as he was once planning to be. I'll leave it at that.
All right, Nana, you're last in. What do you do?
I give a last check outside of the tiny hut before I retreat inwards, just making sure there isn't anything moving, anything out of place, anything that seems like it might be a problem further on that we may have missed.
A roll perception.
Okie dokie. This is kind of important to me, so I'm going to go ahead and add my D12 from Bragi, because I haven't used it yet, and I'm about to lose it, so. Okay. 19.
Okay. You take one last lap, looking about the snow, and then as the darkness fully engulfs, you can't really see anymore. But with your last glances before the sun had set, you didn't see anything. But currently, right before you go back inside, you can't really see at all.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, it's fine. One last paranoia check, make sure there's nothing in front of my nose, I guess.
You kind of wave your arms, you're like, all right, nothing.
All right, fine. Calling it good. Good night.
Okay. You all are now safely inside of the tiny hut. It's pretty warm there.
Why'd you say it like that?
You know, I'm gonna roll a d12. Oh god, that thing rolled all over the place. That was crazy. I need a little camera. All right. Everyone being incredibly tired, some more than others. After a long day of now being back outside, readjusting to the elements. You all drift off to sleep. Some of you wake up a little bit before it happens, a couple minutes or so, but like, pop. And once again, you are now exposed to the sun and the elements of the outside as the morning comes and the tiny hut is dispelled.
Oof. It's cold.
Did we all get our long rest then?
Yes, all of you have gotten a long rest.
Huzzah!
Yay. Jeez, the way you said that. Wake up a little bit before it happens. What happens?
No, the morning.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you for this beautiful morning.
Thank you, Jillian, for this morning.
You all get up. You start going about your business for the morning, getting something to eat, even if it's just a handful of jerky or like nuts or something.
Still got my salted berries.
I have me a sack of salted berries.
A Galander delicacy.
Is there any... There's no evidence of anything poking around outside of our hut in the snow or anything? No footprints or anything?
Roll survival, Finn.
And any look of corruption underneath Ave?
I would also like to say, I think that might be one of the first things Nana would check on in the morning. If
The 17 for
helps.
survival.
Okay. I'll say the people who go and glance at Ave, it seems to be okay. You see that like when it's dispelled, there's kind of like a bit of a buildup of corruption along the outside of the circle on the side Ave was at, but it did not really make its way inside.
Interesting.
And another thing you notice is the the tent which he is wrapped in. It looks like a little bit damp.
Damp.
He's been at room temperature. We've had him in the cold.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Nana's going to check on the wrappings, see whether or not they need to be rewaxed or anything like that, or if there's any damage that's been done.
It doesn't seem to be, like, as you check, it doesn't seem to be much damage to the wrap itself, but just a bit of defrosting had started to happen. But now that he is back out in the cold, it seems to instantly be freezing back up again.
Okay.
Is there anything before you all go? Fen, you look around, you don't see anything. It seems pretty clear. Just that weird sort of, kind of like almost a thin crescent shape of corruption that had pressed itself against the tiny hut.
I do kind of want to do a bit of a powwow with the party regarding that and kind of try to decide on whether or not we want that to be our regular practice or not based on our findings. So apparently the corruption could not reach Ave through the night because of Rose magic defending the space. But it does seem as though keeping him out of the cold, out of the elements, did begin to defrost him somewhat. So long as it isn't longer than the 8 hours that the protection lasts, I don't see it being a significant problem, but then again, provided we can find somewhere with enough upper space for us to rig up Fen's hoist system, it might not be necessary for us to keep him in the tiny hut at all. What say the party?
Freeze thaw might be more damaging than anything. If we can keep him outside, and that might be better for everyone's feeling of well-being. I'm as uncomfortable leaving him unattended as any of you, but if the idea is to return him to Galunda intact as much as possible, keeping him frozen might be the best option.
Does his body actually show any decay, like through this freezing or anything like that, or does it seem to kind of have like that saint kind of like where like it's just still itself as he died kind of thing?
Are you trying to like look at him? Or are you just kind of feeling the outside? Because the outside, if you run a hand over it, it just feels a bit like condensation. You'd have to unwrap him a bit if you'd like to look at him.
We could do a partial unwrap, at the very least around the face, I guess. I would say that's probably going to be the most crucial for us to ensure is okay, at least for the sanity of his family back at home. So, if that's something that Gorbjorn wants to do, Nana will help him.
Okay. You guys work a bit to try and pull back some of the fabric. It takes a minute. He looks almost exactly the same. Very pale. But almost like he's sleeping.
I believe also that I can make an area of the spell that is cooler than the rest to slow down the thawing.
We'll keep it in mind. If we don't need to bring him into the sleeping space, then I think I concur with Fen that it might be best for all of us if we just allow him to stay in the elements. But if need be, if we're pressed and we need to keep him close for safety's sake, then yes, let's try.
Okay. You all get everything put back together, acquire your items, pick everything back up. Not really much of a camp to tear down as much as it used to be. But you prep for your journey, and you guys continue onwards, following the spine, which you see is still illuminated. The occasional flicker, but still there.
Would you like me to continue driving a sled, or would somebody else want to take over?
How is Bragi looking today? Does he look any better?
You look over at Bragi. He looks a lot better. He looks very much better today.
A good long rest will do that for you. And how is Fen looking?
I would say just appearance-wise looks much better as well.
Before we leave, Nana will check in with him, but if anybody else wants to do anything before we depart, then that's cool.
No?
Fen? The rest of you all right?
I feel rested. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Bragi. The stronger he gets, the less like us he is. Right now.
On what evidence are you basing this, Fen?
He just promised to help those giants to their faces. And then as soon as we are clear of them, he said, "Oh, what a shame that we won't be able to help those giants."
Fen,
Just deceive
I will
them.
remind you, it escaped me as well. Not all of us are thinking with all of our faculties at the moment.
I don't believe he cares for us in the same way that those of us that regard him. I am suspicious of him, and I am not working against what we're trying to do here. I just think we should be careful. The less he needs us, the less he is apt to want to help us. And
All
that's
right, then.
that's all I'll say on the matter. And
That's fine.
let us press on before we hit weather or cold that we can't press through. We need to find this oasis, but the sooner we do, the better.
I agree. Let's go.
Bragi leans over to Saga. Do you think they're talking about me?
Well, that look on Fen's face is kind of always there.
That makes more sense, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me feel a little better, I'll be honest.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry too much about it. People say a lot of things about me, and I just know that I'm on a mission, and Lady Satyr has my back. So why worry? Yeah.
Well, I can't think of anything ill that someone should say of you, but
Oh, there's sometimes my magic can be a little bit strange. I kind of blew up a shop once. It was really an accident. I was just trying to help, but didn't. I can be. It's tough.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, there's no shops here, so hopefully
Yeah.
we'll be right.
Yeah. Would you like to try to drive today? I have some carving to do of these necklaces, so if you want to give it a go.
Sure. I'll give it a go.
All right.
Kind of not very confident, but he steps forward and gets up onto the sled and kind of just gets ready to basically mimic what you did last time. You jump on the back and you get ready to start working. The rest of the party gets together and you guys continue along the spine. You guys walk, I would say about 4 hours passes. Excuse me, sir, please, I beg of you.
The gardener. Behold, it is Misha.
Oh no. a lot. Oh no, he just walked over my keyboard and
Oh no.
it's fine. It's the transition. You all walk on. About 4.5 hours passes. Can 2 people give me perception checks, please?
Okay.
I seem to remember some of our front runners have good perception.
I can do it if nobody
23.
else.
Ooh. Ho ho. We got a 23 from Fen.
And I got a 12.
Okay.
No longer a disadvantage. I'm going to do the things that I do well.
Good.
I can do things.
That's a mood.
Fen, at the ready, looking around. It's just sort of snow and rocks and snow and rocks and carved rocks. Carved rocks. You see in the distance, like half a football field away, you can see something that looks not exactly like a building, but like a pile of carved rocks.
Like a cairn, like a stack of rocks, or like a.
It looks more like a. The word I'm going to use is pile. It looks like a pile of rocks, but they are carved.
Huh.
It's a very big pile. It's not very small.
They're carved like there are runes and designs carved onto them, or they're shaped like
They're
like
shaped.
they were hewn into bricks or something.
Yes, they look more like bricks. There are other shapes amongst them, but most of them bricks.
Okay. Nana, do you see that?
Where?
There.
Show me.
There, forward.
Can I see it when he points it out?
Yeah, it takes you a minute, but you can see that there is something different.
It's the
What do we
first
got
thing we've
here?
seen made of since we left the Giants. First thing we've seen made by the hands of man or
Whomever. All right. Probably a good sign. If not the oasis itself, maybe we're getting close. That's good.
Shall we scout it or just approach as a party?
Well, the way that things have gone so far, might not be a bad idea to scout it first. Let's see. Let's everybody slow down just for a moment.
Are we there yet? Nana, are we there?
Soon, we
Bragi
think.
sort of struggles and then eventually is able to stop the sled.
Soon, we think, I hope. Fen's spotted something up ahead. Looks to be carved stones, something like that. We'd like to check it out just for a moment, just to make sure it's safe before everybody else comes through.
Okay.
All right, scouting?
I mean, I've got a 6 in stealth.
What do I?
Okay.
Do you want me to come with? Oh no, okay. That's fine.
Saga, how are you at passing unseen?
I'm not that bad actually. I just need to remember not to say anything, and then it's all right. Yeah.
So, that's a big if.
Well, we might be well off if we had more people in the party who knew how to scout effectively, Fen. And if Saga's eager, might be well for us to show her the ropes.
Would you like me to shroud your footsteps in that area with a spell of silence?
That might be helpful, actually, yes. Just to make sure that we don't betray ourselves.
Then we won't be able to hear anything if somebody's there. What if we need to talk to somebody?
Well, you could give me a sign. I'll watch intently and give me the sign, and the silence
Okay.
goes away.
Okay.
Saga, you can do your lights at will, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Saga, send out a burst of lights towards Ro. He'll drop the silence if we need him to.
Make a little illusion of a man riding a horse.
The sign is a man on a horse.
At what
And
distance? At what distance can you do your lights?
Oh, very far, very far. Like a full flower field's worth.
I really liked my sports analogy, my modern sports analogy.
Well, we don't know what football is.
It's like half the size of a flower field. You guys get it.
Yeah, we know what a flower field looks like.
Yeah, I know that.
They're all around the same size, of course.
They're all the same
Obviously.
size rectangle.
Yeah.
They're very well regimented.
Yes.
It's about 1/10 of an orchard. I know.
Obviously,
As
anyone
far
knows
as how
that.
Golvik can throw a spear, you know?
Pretty
yeah.
far.
That's so pretty.
All right, the three of us will move forward
Yes.
in the silence. Before we go, Nana's going to share with Saga some of, like, perhaps 2 or 3 basic hand signs. Move forward, stop, and Fen, what would be cover? Cover.
Yes.
Cover would be the 3 most important things, I think, for her to know.
Mhm.
You see us do one of those, you know what to do, yes?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
All right, Roshan, you're casting silence on the area, like around the pile of rocks.
Yeah, so I need to be within 120 feet, and then I can work my spell.
Okay, so you follow the group up a bit. I need stealth from Nana, Saga, and Fen.
Oh, come on, buddy, don't run away from me.
23.
17.
21.
Okay. You all move forward silently. The thing about stealthing in this situation is sort of low to the ground, slow and steady, because it's not like there's a lot of cover. But you make your way silently moving, and then you know when you hit that area of silence once you get to this pile of rocks. Because you can't hear anything. You can't hear your footsteps or the wind or your breath. And as you get closer, it starts to dawn on you. There's first this excitement of, is this it? And as you get closer, you realize the spine ends. And you look to the thing in front of you. It's a destroyed building. It is a caved-in, once standing tall temple, house. You don't know. It is now a pile of rocks, very large, torn to pieces, just crushed in on itself.
Is there anything around the area, anything that indicates tracks, recent movement, or any movement that I can tell how long ago would have passed through the area?
Survival or investigation, if anybody's of the 3 people nearby are trying to figure that out.
I'll be doing survival.
Saga is looking for anything bright or shiny, or anything like involving a god of some kind.
Okay, you can roll perception then, Saga.
Okay.
What'd you get, Nana?
14.
14.
19 to survival.
Okay.
24.
Whew! I'm glad I brought these 2 with me.
Nana and Fen, you're looking around the area and you don't see anything akin to tracks beside your own as you both kind of move around looking. But you can see on some of the rocks, it looks like some of them are like stained with ash.
Does the ash resemble the powder that the former trees kind of broke down into?
No, but you rolled very high. It resembles the trees in the fact that the trees are very similar to charcoal. It looks like burn marks and char. Saga, as you look around, trying to find some semblance of some god, you eventually stumble across a rock, and you look at it, kind of squint, and you can see that it like broke in the center, and like part of it's chipped in the middle, and you squint, and the only word you can make out in an older common dialect is Allfather.
Oh. I can't talk. We're in silence.
You just...
Well,
Yeah, Saga starts talking.
excitement.
Remember, she shouldn't talk because she's supposed to be selling. Oh, but then can't make any noise, so then it's okay. And then just...
I mean,
so many emotions in one
Yeah.
go.
yeah.
does it look like the area is safe, secure? Does it look like there's anything close by that is living?
Not that you guys saw. No.
All right. I think Nana's going to kind of tap Saga on the shoulder and gesture back to the party.
She does a image of a purple man riding a Pegasus, twirling a lasso.
Incredible.
You all just watch just a big purple dude with a lasso comes riding by.
Um,
I mean, I guess that's the signal.
Why is she so extra?
Ro looks at...
She's the
Why
cinnamon
not?
roll.
I'm here to have a good time.
Exactly.
Ro looks at Gorbjorn and is like, I expected a man on a horse, not a purple man on a flying horse. Do you think that's it?
And that is exactly Fenn's concern, is like, we told them what the sign was. This is not the sign.
Obviously.
Gorbjorn is always confused by Saga, so he's just like shrugging his shoulders and just starts walking in the direction. Like, that's the best he's gonna
starts
get
heading
out of this.
that way.
All right, I will drop the spell.
I can only hope that we haven't come this far for all our hopes to be for nothing.
I think, Odin, Allfather, the carving here
Where? Show me.
on this rock, I think if you were to put it back on its spot, it would say Allfather. Not sure what image it is, but...
Huh. All right. Okay, well... Does it look like the collapse around here is recent, or does it look like there's a lot of snow buildup on this building? Like, I feel like in an environment like this, it would be easy to tell if something had been here like a year versus like a few weeks.
I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of snow all the time, but
That's also true.
some of this is still exposed.
And I mean, tundra is my favored environment for whatever that counts in this particular situation.
It is not fully covered.
Which probably means it's probably pretty recent, which we can... if this is the oasis, then we might have adversaries to thank for this welcome.
Is there any sort of, I mean, this is a structure that's collapsed, but does it look like there's any precipice or doorway or threshold that's still intact to way in?
Roll perception, please.
A 19.
Okay. As you take a glance around, trying to find an archway, you hear Saga talking about the name or the word Allfather carved onto this piece. and you can see that there is a slight arch to the sides of it. You think there may have been an entryway there, but none are standing.
Is this structure up against the side of the mountain, or is it freestanding?
Freestanding. You could walk the whole perimeter.
Okay.
But this is the end of the spine.
This is the end of the spine.
Okay.
I mean, in units of flower fields, how big is this structure?
If I had to go based on a flower field, I would say the structure is about a quarter of a flower field.
But how high does it still stand? Like
It does not stand very high now. You could walk on top of it to an extent because it's sort of now just kind of a dome of what it once was. I wouldn't say it would be the safest option, but it is doable.
Okay. All right. We've got to establish whether or not this is or was the oasis. If it was, then we've got to see if there's any... Hold on. Nana's going to pull the scroll from Ave out of her pack and consult it again to try and kind of get the details down pat, as well as she can.
Is there anything else anybody would like to be doing during that time while Nana starts to look at the letter from Ave?
And just keeping an eye out, just looking for threats.
So would we be caught up with them, or are we still moving towards them?
Yeah, you guys would catch up by then.
I think Ro would like to see if there are any empty or like open windows or anything that I can take a look underneath any of the collapsed bits.
Give me a perception roll.
Okay.
Saga is just kind of looking through the rubble to see if someone left something or items.
Saga, also roll perception, please.
So I got a nat 20 for 25 total.
Well then,
Wow.
gentle claps from the team. As Nana, you can feel your heart pounding in your chest as you're like, oh God, as you start to look through the letter. Saga's sort of digging through a few pieces like, I hope I find something
Okay.
nice.
No.
Is it a 20?
Yes. I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, but I did it.
Mine's a 27. Not trying to...
It's okay. You both are kind of looking for different things.
Yes, different things. Now I'm just imagining both of us just like looking so well. I don't know.
Like you got
Both
like
of you? Oh! Let's...
Oh, fuck.
How interesting. Let's go with Roshan first.
Please do.
Roshan, as you look around and you see that it is kind of caved in past the point of windows, you can see some parts where it's like, that was a window, but now it is completely covered in rubble. You make your way along, and you're starting to slowly move around the perimeter. And something catches your eye. And you move forward, and you just shift I wouldn't say it's a very big piece of this rock. It's like a thin, sort of wide piece. And as you sort of push it out of the way a little bit, you can see an opening. It's not very big. You think that you all could get inside, but not much more. And you see it leads into a room that you can see there are some collapsed bits around it, but it does have some room left in it. Part of it that did not collapse fully. Saga, you keep talking while I figure out what I'm doing with Saga.
I considered for a hot second saying that Ro just disappears inside, but
Oh no!
but
This hole was meant for me.
He just keeps jumping into random holes.
Goodbye.
He is the bard.
But he would call attention to it. Call the group over.
Okay.
You found something.
An entrance, a non-collapsed room. I'm not sure what it is.
Right. Well, it's big enough for us to fit through. Nana kind of eyeballs the entrance and eyeballs Gorbjorn and then also eyeballs the sled. Pretty sure the sled's not gonna be kosher to fit through.
The sled has literally no chance of being able to get in, and it's also a slight drop to jump in.
Oof.
It's almost like a basement room.
Okay, alright. Not ideal, but okay.
I have a suggestion, and you're welcome to take it as you would. I have told you I am not of much help. But I exist and I have eyes. I could stay out here with your sled and wait. Make sure nothing happens to your friend. I really do not want to go in there.
I can't say I blame you. And that would certainly put my mind a great deal at ease if there was someone who could at least shout down to us if something came upon us suddenly.
Of course, and if something happened, vice versa, I would come to your aid the best I could.
Hopefully it would not come to that, but thank you. That alone would be helpful. All right. Okay.
Saga, as you hear the group talking and kind of like being like, we found a way in, near the symbol of the Allfather, something catches your eye. And it's not exactly very shiny or metal or a gem, but it looks like a piece of fabric.
That piques her interest as well. She likes fabrics.
Are you gonna try and get it?
Yes.
All right.
Of course.
100%, yes, please.
Absolutely.
It takes you a minute, but with that nat 20, almost perfectly preserved. And you've seen how fabrics take to this weather and over long periods of time. You can only assume that this is not old. You find a long silk glove that if you put it on, you think would go up to like here on your arm. Like very long glove. It's kind of a medium gray, but has a soft shine to it.
Oh, there's only the one?
There's only one.
Oh. Just running towards the group. Oh, just first, he starts to run away, but then, okay, look around a little bit more. Anything I missed? Just, you can say no, it's fine. I just
No, that nat 20 makes me just want to give you a bunch of things, but this glove is perfectly preserved, but you don't see anything else.
Okay. Good, then. Look what I found!
What is that?
A glove.
What color is it?
Silver. Takes off her own glove, puts on this one.
Does it look anything like the armaments that the party in the white cloaks were wearing?
Roll intelligence. I'll give you advantage.
Ooh. Advantage.
Thank you. So kind.
Very nice. Oh, I'm very glad for that advantage. Thank you. You said it was intelligence?
Yes, please.
That is a 17.
You remember mostly that their outfits were white.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a moment where your mind falls to that spellcaster woman.
Mm-hmm.
and you can picture on one of her hands a gray glove, a silvery glove.
Do I remember catching sight of her other hand?
I'm not exactly sure who was privy to her all arm situation.
I think Ro was. I don't remember about anybody else.
There was never exposed hand, but there was a point where her arm gets exposed and it is just like blackened.
Oh, I see. That looks an awful lot like that spellcaster woman's glove.
Oh, oh yes, they must have been here.
I think we have them to thank for the state of the temple.
Were they likely to leave anything behind in the temple if they were the ones that tore it down? Is this even worth our investigating?
We've come this far, Fen. What else are we going to do?
We're going to do what you tell us to do.
We're here. Ave's scroll said we had to search within the oasis. If we think that this might be it, we go in.
I can go first.
I won't ask anybody else to risk this. I'll go.
Are you sure I can see a bit better in the dark than you? It's not risky. It's not asking someone to risk it to go in when they can see in the dark versus you who need to bring a torch. But if you wish, we follow you.
It'd take a valuable hand for me to climb down without that, so all right. Go on ahead.
How far a drop is it?
You would say it's about a 10-foot drop.
Anything to tie a rope off to kind of make it easier for us to get in and out of here if we needed to?
I mean, nothing seems... You don't know how stable everything is.
I mean, the sled, could we break the sled or like apply brakes on the sled in some way and tie a rope to that just so we had a...
I'm not sure how you would, but you are welcome to try.
And there's stones and stuff. Couldn't we just prop a stone under one of the runners?
You're welcome to. I just wasn't going to give a way out.
Okay.
I pull out my blueprints. I'm just like, so listen. No, yeah, you could pick up a piece of rubble and kind of prop it behind the sled and tie something to the sled. You could do whatever you want to do.
Aldrich, do you want to help me with this, please? Carry this stone here to keep the sled in place. We'll tie a rope to it, and that way everyone can get in a bit easier and get out if we need to.
No, of course.
Yeah, easy enough to set this up. You guys prepare a bit of rope to try and get in a bit easier. After you do that, Bragi kind of pulls the other sled over and sort of places it kind of catty corner to try and give it a little bit extra leverage, and sits next to it. If he's alive in there, I don't want to know. God, then what would this be? Never mind. I will keep track of the sled. Easy enough. Make sure nobody follows you in.
If who is alive? Your father, you mean?
Yes. I'm not going to assume he couldn't be, even though we sit upon his body. But I would assume he is dead, but nothing really makes sense here, so...
And if he's alive in there, you don't want to know.
No, you can...
You wouldn't want him to get out, either.
No, you may let him out. I have no issue with that. I just do not wish to see him.
A fair request.
Just give me a heads up. It would be a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
All right, who is going in first? And everybody's welcome to go in one after the other. You're welcome to do whatever you want.
Nana will stand by next to the entryway and wait for... I'm assuming Fen wants to go ahead and push for first.
Yeah.
Nana would wait for him to safely and successfully make his way down, make sure that initial space is safe, call up, and then she'd go after him. And make sure that everybody is safe heading down after her.
Okay, and then Gorbjorn will follow after you, and then the rest will probably follow suit in some sort of order. Fen, you use the rope and you climb down. Pretty tight fit. You guys are able to get in with your packs on, but it's a bit of a tight fit even then. You make your way in. Half of the room there's a bit of illumination here because of the entryway. But besides that, it has its dark corners. You don't see anything that looks like it is living or dangerous per se. The ground is a bit slick. And as you look around, a lot of places in the room have collapsed and are just kind of bent in on itself. But there is a bit of a center space where you are. And then you see up ahead a long hallway. And in front of you in the middle of this room, you see, it looks like a large golden bowl that has fallen off of its pedestal and lays at its side, continuously filling. And you see as part of it drips out, that part freezes on the floor, but it gives itself water anew, and that water continues to fall. On the floor around this, you also can see partially frozen into the ground are multiple cups. And you can see there are words carved about the room and on the bowl and in different places. Nana, you see that he gets to the bottom. Do you give the all clear?
Nana, it looks okay. There's something down here that Gorbjorn's going to want to take. We probably shouldn't let him.
Gorbjorn is second in.
God damn it! Gorbjorn, wait! He's gone. Nana will head down, I suppose, either next or once Gorbjorn's cleared the rope, depending on how quick he is to jump on. There's something Gorbjorn will want to take.
I heard that. I didn't even use the rope. I did a Superman landing.
Jumped in.
Oh my god! Superhero landing! It's terrible on the knees.
You land, and then you kind of slide across the ground, expecting it to be stony. You just kind of slide about the room.
That's
Nana,
a bit slick.
you
Sorry.
follow in after. You hear it slick after Gorbjorn kind of goes flying. Do all of you go in?
Yes. And I will light up a stone or something just to give illumination for Nana.
Okay.
Much
Tordrick,
thank you.
Tordrick is watching everyone, and where Bragi said he was going to watch the stuff, he's watched Bragi, and he's totally I had great conversation with him, but this is too convenient. And as he's on the ledge before he starts climbing down, and as a rock dwarf, if he sees a little path in those rocks on the way down, he'll take that instead of the rope, just to kind of show that the dwarves know what they're doing with them rocks. But he's going to cast locate object on the sled that Bragi is near, and that way, if that sled starts to move, Tordrick's going to know.
Okay.
And he obviously will alert the others that something is a moving.
Things are a moving.
Yep.
Much obliged.
You finish what you need done. Bragi gives a little bit of a wave to Saga and kind of mouths good luck as you all disappear into this room. When you're all in there, you can see the slick floor and the long hallway and this tilted bowl that continues to fill itself the best it can as it slowly spills out over time. You can see that there are words written atop this hallway, the entrance to the hallway, and there are words across the bowl. Pretty prominent, not very hidden. I've lost it. There we go. you see written on the archway in Old Common, all must drink before witnessing the light of Odin, or shall perish in its darkness. And on the bowl, you see, the first step to overcoming fear is embracing it.
All right. If it's a light we're seeking, it sounds like we're in the right place, or at least heading in the right direction. What's the state of this drink that we're supposed to be drinking from? Is it possible to get some still?
I mean, part of the bowl is like at an angle. So like the side, the lip holds on to water, and then as it continues to try and fill, some spills over the edge. But there is a pocket, and it looks like crystal clear water.
All right.
Tordrick could go smell it. Tordrick will smell at the water.
Roll nature or medicine.
Okay. 14 medicine.
You smell at it. It smells. It doesn't have much of a smell to it. The metal of the bowl almost has a bit more of a smell, just the scent of gold. It's just kind of a weird metallic smell in the air. What did you roll again? I'm sorry.
It was a 14.
Okay. There is a slightly different smell, but nothing that smells very like chemically. It does not remind you of any medicines. It does not remind you of any poisons. That doesn't stand out in that way.
Okay.
So there were
Doesn't
cups.
smell bad.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Well, if you want, I could pray. Maybe clear things up if it's not good to drink. Would you like that? He's looking to everyone.
On the off chance that something fell in it that wasn't supposed to, I don't see why it would hurt.
Remember who
Okay.
preceded us here.
Indeed.
So, Tordrick begins to do this prayer to the 9 sisters that they give him the power to create a miracle of cleansing, and he does a purify food and drink.
Nice.
You purify this drink. You watch as it continues to spill over and move, but it is purified.
Just as well.
Well, let's see what happens. He gets out his drinking horn, takes some. Now, was there a cup there for use?
There are cups kind of strewn about the ground. You'd have to kind of just pry them out of the ice, but there are cups.
Okay. Do they have like writing on them? He'll pick one up and look at it.
What are they made of?
They seem to be made of the same thing that the bowl is. They seem to be gold.
Just collecting them.
His eyes go, yeah. I guess Tordrick will go around as a priest would think, this must be what everybody needs to use. And he'll go and wipe one off and hand one to everybody. And then he'll pour some water for everyone, or the liquid.
All of you are presented with a cup of this liquid. What would you all like to do?
Nana
Very
will
good.
drink.
Tordrick, care to lead us in a dwarven drinking chant?
No. Yes, to friends, and good drink. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
3.
To friends,
Friends.
and a good.
And a good drink.
Yay.
Whoop.
Okay.
Down the hatch.
I just have a question. Should we bring Bragi down here? It says to conquer fear. He said he was a little bit worried. I don't know. I just feel like he should be down here as well.
Well, it would at least make me feel better if we could wait until after we'd finished our business here. Find whatever it is there may still be for us to find, and when we are on our way back out, I think that it would be a good thing to offer to him before we leave.
Okay.
Just so that we can ensure that things are safe down here. We aren't asking him to come down into anything we don't already know about.
All right. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just a little worried.
You all drink. It's maybe the freshest tasting water you've had in a while. And I mean, cold, but it's not frozen. Until it leaves the bowl, it does not seem to freeze except for on the floor. And then you all see yes, go ahead.
Is the bowl latched on, like nailed down kind of thing?
Actually, the bowl itself has kind of been, during the collapse, pushed off of its pedestal. So it is just
How
there.
big is the bowl?
Oh, it's real big. It would be like
Is it like fountain size?
it would be like a turtle shell for Gorbjorn. Like that's kind of the size.
Oh my god, that's big.
Like a little bit of a turtle shell, or a nice, like round sled that kids have.
So like if Gorbjorn wanted to dress up as like Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles for Halloween, he could use this bowl as a giant bougie.
The bougiest Ninja Turtle.
I feel like he's more of a Mikey.
He is. You are
all
correct.
see this long, dark hallway before you. And it almost seems brighter now.
Let's go on, shall we?
All right. All of you start making your way through. Saga, your tongue kind of itches a little. Just a weird feeling in your mouth, kind of like a cotton mouth, like you haven't had, like, just a strange sensation as you walk forward. And your friends are ahead of you. And you watch as they enter a room. A large room with statues and gold and paintings and just monuments. A beautiful room, an oasis. And you see before them a large, shining golden torch, which you watch Nana walk forward and grasp and hold in her hands. And you feel excitement begin to well into you that this is finally worked out and that you're here. And you see a bit of a zap of electricity on your hand. And you look at it and you watch it kind of move between your fingers and you see it building. You've seen this before. As
Like when I blew up the shop?
It's very similar to when you blew up the shop. You feel your hand starting to build. And watches, woof, woof, energy begins to burst forth from your hand and spins around you. You're surrounded by light and you hear a shatter and you turn behind you and you see the tincture of tears behind you broken and spilling out onto the floor. And you hear Nana yell out a sound of anguish. And you see that one of your bolts had hit the torch and it is shattered and broken in her hands. And as you look around, all of your friends stare at you and they look afraid. And you hear a splash and a movement as Nana drops to her knees holding the torch. And you see the tincture that had spilled slowly begins to fill the room with liquid. You watch as your friends get pulled below. And each time somebody bobs beneath the water trying to keep themselves afloat, you forget something. You forget Gorbjorn's name and it's gone and there's a man before you and you don't know who it is. And you watch him sink below the water. And the room is just full and you see colors that slowly darken beneath you. And you don't remember who these people are, and a part of you says they're your friends, and you want to remember, you know who they are, and then you don't remember your own name. and you see the tincture floating through the water, and you don't know what it is either, and you know it's important, and you can't remember why.
Do I remember the lady?
As you kind of push against the water that begins to fill the room, and you watch as your friends are pushed about, you try to remember her.
And I'm yelling. I was yelling for my friends at first. But I think as I forgot, it went from yelling their names to just yelling to just screaming.
You scream their names, and then you scream for someone, and then you scream for the lady, and then it just turns into yelling, hopeful yells, and then fear and terror, and you are alone, drowning in this room full of this tincture. And that is where we are going to stop for tonight.
But our cinnamon!
Ah!
Thank you all so much for watching with us today on The Backs of Gods. If you want to figure out what happens next, we will be here same time, same place, every Monday. If you want to see art or keep updated, we have an Instagram and a Twitter. Just looked at Ray. At Backs of Gods. You can find us on Facebook at The Dice Cult. Thank you all so much for watching. Ray, I know you're going through a lot, but could you just tell us the time and place of your other show real quick, please?
Okay. On Wednesday, we have another show. It's at 8 Central. You can come watch that one too.
Your character's a lot madder over there and a lot less sad.
Yeah. It used to be happy here, mad there, but now it's sad and mad. Yes.
Frank, could you tell me about the other show, please?
Friday nights, we have a little party going on Twitch. We roll some dice and talk about what's going on and have a good time.
Woo!
Come by 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Legends of Theia. A lot of fun.
And Josh, could you tell us about what is happening on Saturday?
So on Saturday night, we will be premiering a new show featuring a couple new faces, and we will be playing some real sexy vampires in Chicago.
The sexiest you ever saw.
We'll be the sexiest vampires. Thank you all so much for being here with us. Ended at a very interesting point, and I hope to be able to share the rest of the story with you in a week's time. Thank you all again so much. Goodbye. See you next